Rebonjour sur ce live pour le 8e vol Starship. Si vous me demandez pourquoi le live que j'ai lancé juste avant s'est coupé, c'est tout simplement parce que j'avais un problème avec la chauffe de mon PC. Ce qui du coup fait que mon PC a surchauffé et du coup que le live s'est arrêté. Et pourquoi j'entends pas de son? Ah non, mais c'est parce que ça, les sons... Voilà.
To measure distance between the arms and a vehicle. These ones are actually protected by kind of a modified version of our heat shield tiles. Catching the ship's going to be a little different from catching a booster. One of the key things is it's going to do that flip right before its landing burn that rapidly reorients your antennas, which you're using for navigation. So those extra sensors on the ground side help just add more layers of control as ship and tower talk together for the catch.
And in another first, Starship will deploy 4 Starlink simulators. They are similar in size to our next generation Starlink satellites. Starship will have the ability to deploy our advanced V3 Starlink satellites, which will help further Starlink's impact in the coming years as we work to expand access to high-speed internet all around the world.
Each Starlink V3 launch is planned to add about 60 terabits per second of capacity to the Starlink network. To give you some perspective, that's about 20 times the capacity we're adding right now with every V2 mini launch on a Falcon 9. Those Starlink simulators that we're going to deploy are on the same suborbital trajectory as Starship itself. They're expected to demise upon entry. Starship's trajectory looks super similar to our last couple of flights. Splashdown is targeted for the Indian Ocean. And then on top of all of that, again, we are planning to relight one Raptor engine while in space. That just helps us get data on the in-space burns and show Starship is capable of deorbiting.
Speaking of deorbiting, thanks to Starlink, one of the hallmarks of the Starship missions are the incredible views that we get throughout flight, and especially during reentry, as evidenced by many a phone and desktop background around here. Every day, we're working to expand the Starlink network both on Earth and in space. For how this all connects us to the big mission, let's head back to Chris.
Thanks, Kate. Personally, I love all those epic views of the plasma wrapping around Starship during reentry. Can't wait to see that later today. And fans of Starship may know that Starlink enables us to bring you lots of unprecedented views, both from space and here on Earth. Starlink is the world's largest satellite constellation operating in low Earth orbit today to deliver high-speed, low-latency broadband internet and connectivity, specifically for missions like Starship today. And as you can see on your screen, Starlink brings us many other views because of its capabilities. In addition to the dozens of cameras on Starship itself, we have mobile camera kits with Starlink deployed in the Indian Ocean, which is what you're seeing some footage of right now on your screen from a previous mission. You'll notice the Starlink mini dish in the foreground here as Starship lands in the background. Just what an image that captured from an earlier flight. Now, Starlink also connects our aerial and cinematography units on the ground at Starbase, which will help us deliver the incredible drone shots leading up to launch today. And here on your screen, you can actually see us moving the flaps, preparing Starship for flight, making sure all of the aero surfaces that need to move during flight can do so in the way that we need them to. Now, on Starship itself, Starlink will enable Starship today to stream more than 120 megabits per second of real-time, high-definition video and telemetry in every phase of flight, including views like you're seeing right now of those flaps moving. This not only helps provide those views, but it also helps give our engineers an incredible amount of data to help us rapidly and iterate across all parts of the system as we move through our development program. And all of the streaming data today will definitely be put to good use with the more than 30 cameras on the vehicle for flight. But providing epic views is sort of a side quest for Starlink. Its main job is obviously to provide internet access for people around the world, many of whom who have never had connectivity before. Now, today, Starlink serves more than 125 countries, territories, and other markets with over 5 million active customers and counting. And there are just so many inspiring ways that people are using Starlink all around the world and in space. And hopefully today, in a few minutes, everyone will get to see more inspiration about what our future in space looks like. And Dan and Kate, how are we looking for Starship's flight today?
Thanks, Chris. We are looking forward to those views as well. In fact, we're getting ready to launch Starship in just over 8 minutes. Now, as for a couple status updates, It's working, no major issues on the vehicle. Range is emerald green, you could say. Everything looks great in terms of the sea and airspace here in the Gulf of America, as well as in the Indian Ocean. Of course, we want to make sure both areas are clear as the ship will be splashing down in the Indian Ocean while the booster is going to be coming back to us at the launch site just a couple miles behind Dan and I. Weather, you could call it a silver lining that we had to delay from Monday because holy moly, visibility is 1,000 times better today, and it's going to make for some really great views. Now, leading up to today, we did stack the vehicle later last night. Flight controllers reported to their consoles earlier today. The site was cleared and the range team was deployed.
That's right. And a lot of checkouts have happened just throughout the day, aligning our guidance, navigation, control, getting all the tanks ready for prop load, which has about 4 minutes left to go. You can see us almost topping out on ship, getting ready to top out on booster. And then it also includes getting all the ground support systems checked out, ready to go. Chopsticks were demated, did their wiggle test in advance of their upcoming catch opportunity. So, as I just said, prop load's ongoing. We've got a little over about 4 minutes left until, or about 4 minutes. What's 7 minus 4? 4 minutes until we get to closeouts on ship and on booster. We did just hear that the range did pull again green. So we're not tracking any issues right now. Bottom line, things are looking great for launch at the top of our window at 5:30 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, very exciting. Now, once again, we are attempting to catch the booster at the launch tower. If that happens today, it will be the third ever booster catch. This is an aspect that I really enjoy, and it's how the vehicle announces that it is back.
It lets you know.
Oh, yeah. This comes in an audible sonic boom in the area around the return location, which occur when the booster slows down from traveling at supersonic speeds. Similar sonic booms were heard during the return and landing of NASA's space shuttle.
Yes, sonic booms are unique to vehicles returning from space. They're kind of a hallmark of reusable systems like our Falcon 9 rocket and Falcon Heavy. General impact to those in the surrounding area is that brief thunder-like noise. I've been fortunate enough to be here for all of them so far. They definitely let you know the vehicle's coming. Here's a little bit about what it's like to experience it.
Ah, c'est vrai que ça fait beaucoup de bruit lorsque le booster arrive et ça fait le sonic boom. Ça sent le boom. Ah, vous entendez? Ça aussi le double bruit. Les gens qui disent bande supersonique, pour certaines fusées c'est le double bande supersonique. Et pour d'autres fusées encore plus graves, cette fois-ci, qui passent vraiment très très vite, c'est le triple.
And as someone who grew up hearing those sonic booms as the shuttles landed in Florida and now hearing them for Falcon and Starship as well, they really are something to experience. And when you hear them, you just know it's a spaceship telling everyone that it wants to be reused. Great sounds. So as you can hear, the room is getting excited here in Hawthorne. The crowd eager to see Starship fly, as you can see. And here, now behind me in our flight control room here in Hawthorne, you can see some of our folks on console. They're assisting the flight controllers in Starbase, keeping an eye on all of Starship's various systems, including its avionics and those Raptor engines we talked about a little bit earlier. So Dan and Kate, with 4 minutes, 20 seconds left on the clock, let's hit it back to you at Starbase and hopefully watch Starship lift off today.
Thanks so much, Chris. Now, if you're just joining us, we're now just about 4 minutes until the liftoff of the 8th test flight of Starship. As we reported earlier, range and weather are both very green, super green, if you will, and everything is looking good. Propellant loading continues to happen. We're going to be closing out very soon on both stages of Starship.
Yeah, we're almost fully fueled on our tanks. We're going to see that closeout coming in just about 30 seconds on ship. So that's both the main and the header tanks. And then about 30 seconds later on booster. Once prop load is complete, we got just shy of 1 million pounds of liquid propellant. That's liquid oxygen, liquid methane. We'll do what's called pushbacks. They'll clear all those feed lines. We're not continuously replenishing the propellant.
Yeah. Quelques problèmes.
Onboard Starship are super heavy.
On va attendre que ça se reconnecte. Si je rage quitte, Comme dans le dernier live, ça va sûrement mal terminer.
Well, final checkouts,
Voilà.
we'll do one final one.
On n'a pas les
of
final
the
checkouts,
thrust vector
par
control,
pitié.
the
C'est ce qui nous a
TVCs
coûté 6 heures de
on
live
the
lors
booster.
du
We'll see
dernier.
them hopefully do a little bit of a wiggle
pitié.
test. The first one comes at about a minute
164
40
paquets
seconds
perdus.
Before launch, and then the
J'espère qu'on
last
aura
one
le temps de
comes
finir
right
le
as we
live avant
pass that
que,
T-40 gate. Again, if we need to
que
hold,
ça
which we
crache
held
ou
a
un
couple
truc
of
comme
times
dans
on
le genre.
Monday, we can do so at that T-40 second. We're not currently tracking any issues that would hold us there, but if we do run into that, we can hang out for a couple minutes.
That would be the
Oula.
point in the countdown, as we mentioned on Monday. That T-minus 40 second point is when we can pause to hold for final checkouts or pressurizations if necessary. But once we pass that T-minus 40 second mark, a number of things are going to occur in rapid succession. The ground spin and ignition systems will come up to flight pressure. The ship goes to internal power. And after that, the quick disconnect or QD arm lockout. That's removed in preparation for retraction shortly after T0. Once we pass T-minus 40 seconds, as we saw on Monday, we have the ability to recycle the count under certain conditions back to that T-minus 40 second mark and hold there to assess what happened and if we're able to proceed to T0.
And like we said, that we can hang
va
out
assister au
at
décollage.
T-40 for several minutes.
J'espère vraiment. Là, j'ai qu'un seul spectateur simultané, c'est moi-même. J'espère qu'il y a des gens qui vont voir cette rediffusion parce que franchement, ça va être incroyable. Je vais aussi faire une rediff sur YouTube, juste au cas où.
And the water starts to flow in that flame deflector, and we scrub. That's automatic scrub for the day. Oh, there's our TVC, our thrust vector control checkout's got a little bit of a wiggle there. On those inner Raptor engines, those 13 inner ones, which are going to be used for that boost back burn and the landing burn. So cool to see those.
Lancement.
I love that shot. We don't have that on Falcon. It's just so cool to
Attendez,
see.
je dois fermer Screen
Really
Rec
the
parce que
business end of the super heavy booster.
Parfois ça peut bouffer un peu. Ils peuvent se dire « Eh les gars, il reste une minute. Préparez-vous. Champagne !» Non, ok, je suis gênant. Ok, est-ce qu'on va passer les 40 secondes? Si on passe les 40 secondes, ça veut dire que le vol, c'est impossible qu'il soit reporté. Ok.
All right, we are going to hold at T-minus 40. We're watching the temperatures on the ship right now for the ship fuel.
Ils font juste des vérifications. Par pitié, faites que ça, qu'il se passe pas la même chose, ou en tout cas que ça faites que on n'aura pas de report, s'il vous plaît, pas de report.
All right, sounds like we're going to be able to reset those holds, not tracking any other holds, and clock is rolling.
Ça fait longtemps que j'attends ce vol. Il devait de base se faire le 20, il devait de base se faire le 24. Ensuite, il devait se faire le 26. Ensuite, le 28. Ensuite, le 3 mars. Et maintenant, c'est 6 mars. Par pitié, dites-moi que on a eu la même attente que pour le 7e vol. Il a été reporté 4 fois.
T-minus 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Check that range.
Les gars, on vient. La fusée vient de décoller pour son 8e vol. Incroyable. Et bientôt nous arriverons à passer Mach 1. C'est incroyable, et en plus on aura un rattrapage chimique. Incroyable. Désolé, mais là je suis obligé de dire que c'est incroyable. Je suis obligé. Et nous passons Mach 1. Et bientôt nous aurons la phase de Max Q. Donc
Max Q.
Donc c'est le moment où il y a le plus de pression sur le
All right, so we're
sur la
through
fusée
max Q.
de pression,
The heaviest
pression
stresses is kind of
aérodynamique.
seeing on the way up. Wow, that was pretty incredible.
I'm still recovering. That was amazing. Beautiful views of the vehicle on ascent, pitching downrange away from the launch tower.
Next thing coming up is hot staging. So we're going to look for 6 engines to ignite on ship.
Wow,
while we're still attached to the top
incroyable.
of the booster. We'll see all but those 3 center engines shut down on booster.
Incroyable. Ça fait maintenant 2 minutes que la fusée est en route.
We're hearing the initial call that we are go for booster catch
Yes!
back here at the launch tower.
Ils sont prêts pour le rattrapage. Alors ça, par contre, j'ai vraiment hâte.
Coming up now on hot staging, the ship's engines will ignite while still attached to the Super Heavy booster, and also while Super Heavy booster will still be under power itself. The clamps holding the 2 stages together are going to release, and Starship second stage engines will
Booster engine
ignite.
cut off.
Et là, c'est l'extinction du booster.
Ship engine startup.
Et nous avons la séparation hot stage.
Separation.
Incroyable.
Boost back burn startup.
Oula,
There we go.
on a deux moteurs qui
Ship
sont
engines,
éteints.
all 6 Raptors ignited. We're doing that boost back burn. Looks like we got 11 of the 13 that we command for
Go for
that,
boost
so
return.
that's going to start sending the booster back. We are still go for booster return, even with 2 Raptors out during that boost back. We can do a full duration one. But
chamber push is nominal.
looks like we got a ship, 6 engines heading into space, and then we got a booster hopefully on our way back to Starbase. How's everything going in Hawthorne, Chris?
Everything is looking good. The crowd eagerly followed
Alors par
that
contre, il y a 2
ascent, and
moteurs
now
qui sont
watching the
éteints,
booster
faites
coming
gaffe.
back. So as you can see on the
De toute
left-hand
façon, pour le
side of
7e
your
vol, il y
screen
avait
here,
un
that is
moteur
ship
qui s'était éteint et
continuing.
pourtant...
That's a great view
Ouah,
of
les
ship
vues incroyables
continuing on its way to space. They're
du
looking-
cargo. Enfin, c'est pas un
that's
cargo, ça
inside
c'est...
the camera, inside the aft skirt, looking
les engine
at the
bay.
Raptor
C'est comme ça qu'on
vacuum and
appelle
the
ça.
sea-level engines, the sea-level ones there in the center of your screen
J'espère que
under
cette
our
fois-ci,
T+
on n'aura
clock.
pas
You
une
can
explosion
see
du
our
ship.
boost back burn. We're down to 3 engines on the
Parce que ça,
boost
c'est
back
dommage.
burn. And you can see ship on the right-hand side of that telemetry with 6 engines lit, continuing its ascent to orbit, already over 100 kilometers in altitude. The booster 87 kilometers in altitude and continuing its trek right now back to the landing site and catch site. There's
Boost back shutdown.
and we just heard a good call out for boost back shutdown. The next thing we should see on our screen is the separation of the hot stage
Et après,
from
nous
the
aurons
super heavy
la
booster.
séparation
We
du
jettison
hot
that because
stage.
we do not need it for the landing, but on future iterations of the super heavy, that hot stage ring will be incorporated into the booster, and we will get it back.
Ah,
But
séparation
for
du hot
today, you
stage.
can see it on the right-hand side of your screen there, just separating off of from the right-hand side of the booster. You can also see the booster doing its liquid oxygen dump there, which is exactly what we would expect for it to do as the booster gets itself configured for the landing here. Now, meanwhile, Starship
Okay.
will continue to coast after it reaches orbit for about 40 minutes or so, up to an altitude of 214 kilometers, but it's still got a ways to go there, currently accelerating
Et
past 75
le booster va revenir
per hour there
pour
in
son
velocity.
3e
And just look at
rattrapage
those
et
great
pour
views of
moi,
the booster
personnellement,
coming back.
mon
The
2e
Gulf
rattrapage que je
coastline there
verrai.
just looks
Parce que le
absolutely
premier rattrapage que j'ai vu,
gorgeous.
c'était durant...
trajectory.
que j'ai vu en direct, je
And
précise.
there we hear nominal
Bah, c'était
trajectories
durant le
all
7,
around.
c'était
And,
durant
Dan and
le
Kate,
7e
we're
vol.
at 5 minutes, 15 seconds here into
bientôt,
the
nous
flight.
aurons
Everything
la
looking
ligne
good for
burn.
the Super Heavy and for Starship today.
Enfin, pas tout de suite. Enfin, c'est pas pour tout de suite. Là, elle est encore à 50 km. Mais d'ici à peu près 1 minute, on
It
aura...
was incredible, Chris, to be able to see the
Incroyable.
mock diamonds
On peut voir les
with
vues
my own
incroyables
eyes. That
au
was
sol.
amazing.
Montre
We
le-
are standing by for return
le
of
booster.
booster back to the launch tower. We have heard that we are go for the catch of the booster.
Yes, ils sont prêts pour le rattrapage.
Yeah, this coming from one of our long-range tracking cameras, we're able to see the hot stage separate and fly away. So
Normalement,
coming up in
à
just
6 minutes
about 30
40,
seconds, we're gonna
on
look for
devrait avoir le landing burn.
We're gonna command
Voire même le
13
rattrapage.
inner and middle ring engines to turn on.
Ok, non, je pense que c'était
13
beaucoup trop
initially to
tôt.
bleed off all of that velocity as we're slowing down
Waouh,
supersonic
putain, c'est
speeds,
trop beau.
eventually moding down to only 3 engines for that precision
Comment ça
flight
peut être aussi
into the
beau?
tower.
Right now, booster using its 4 hypersonic grid fins to help guide itself through this atmospheric entry back for its precision landing at the launch site. Once again, we're going to ignite first the center 13 engines. You should see that.
Et nous avons l'allumage.
Engines in startup.
Le landing burn.
3 engines as the booster slows down.
Et le booster se rapproche de la tour pour l'allumage. Waouh. Et il se fait rattraper.
What an incredible sight to see these super heavy boosters.
Troisième fois, les gars. Troisième fois qu'on le voit. Bon, là, j'ai pas activé ma caméra, donc on peut pas le voir. Mais là, je fais 3 avec mes mains. Troisième fois qu'on voit ça.
Stuck the landing.
Wow.
Incroyable.
That will never get old.
Alors là, je suis beaucoup plus calme que durant le 7ème vol, vu que durant le 7ème vol, c'était la toute première fois que je l'avais vu, donc j'étais comme un ouf. Bah là, vu que c'est la deuxième fois, là, je me dis, ça va, c'est super. Mais je l'ai déjà vu, donc en vrai, je me calme un peu. Ah, il fait nuit, apparemment, sur le... Et il n'y a aucun moteur qui est en panne. Donc c'est bien.
Again, a million shout outs to all of our avionics team who make these cameras possible for us. That's looking right down inside essentially the skirt area.
Mais comment ça peut être aussi beau en fait?
Where you can see a pretty good view of all 6 Raptors, especially those 3 inner
Là, on
ones.
a la vue des flaps avant. Là, nous avons les RCS qui conduit les...
And we just saw some engines go out.
Oula.
It looks like we are losing attitude control of the ship.
Ouh, non, ça c'est pas bon. Ça, par contre, c'est pas bon. Prenez le contrôle du ship, reprenez le contrôle du ship. En plus, il y a 2 moteurs qui sont allumés là, c'est pas censé être comme ça. Éteignez le moteur. Non. Comment ça, ship STS saved? Tu te fous de moi?
Getting video down from the ship, you can see we've lost several engines and we've lost attitude control of the vehicle.
Non. Non, qu'est-ce qui arrive? Je sais pas pourquoi, mais la V2, elle a vraiment un problème en fait. Le vol 1, ok, il y a eu une perte de connexion, donc voilà. Le vol 2 aussi, le vol 3... C'est juste parce qu'en fait, ils avaient perdu le contrôle, donc en gros, c'est la même chose. Le vol 4, il s'est très bien passé. Le vol 5, il s'est très bien passé. Durant le vol 6, il s'est très bien passé. Et là, le vol 7, ils ont perdu le contrôle. Non, regardez, là, il y a un moteur allumé, c'est celui du bas, exactement comme le 7ème vol. Oula, le moteur est éteint, mais on continue à avoir les télémétries. Peut-être qu'il va pas se passer ce qui s'est passé lors du 7ème vol.
Unfortunately, it seems as though we lost the attitude control of the ship. We are standing by as we listen in with the teams on the next to understand what information we're able to provide you. We will provide that as soon as we are able, but it's pretty incredible to take a moment and see the booster just behind us. Certainly a different view than last time.
And at this point, we've essentially lost contact with the ship. We're no longer receiving telemetry at this moment. So we were only about 20 seconds away or so from the
Mais il continue à avoir des télémétries, donc normalement, ça veut dire que c'est pas grave qu'on a encore des informations sur le ship et qu'on a peut-être une chance de le remettre. Bon là, j'ai enlevé le... Là, je viens d'enlever le chrono là. Donc là, les gars, j'ai enlevé le chrono. Mais il se peut que je le remette si jamais ils reprennent de la télémétrie. Allez. Me dites pas qu'il se fera exactement la même chose que ce qui s'est passé durant le 8ème vol. Que durant le 7ème, pardon. S'il vous plaît, par pitié. Parce que désolé, mais là, limite, on pourrait confondre le 8e et le 7e vol, là. Tellement c'est la même chose qui se passe. En plus, tous les moteurs se sont éteints à la fin, vous avez vu. Et en plus, j'avais vu qu'il y avait des RCS. Donc si il y a des RCS, ça voudrait normalement dire... Normalement, s'il y a des RCS, ça veut dire qu'ils peuvent reprendre le contrôle à tout moment. C'est pas logique. Bon, sur ce, bah, je vais vous mettre une musique. Et je vais vous laisser avec les images. Et si jamais d'ici quelques minutes, on n'a toujours aucune nouvelle du ship et qu'en plus le live de SpaceX s'arrête, bah ce live aussi, et je serai dégoûté. Je veux faire une rentrée atmosphérique du Starship. Ah, putain. Bon bah, je vous laisse. Enfin, je vous laisse pas tout de suite, hein. Peut-être qu'on récupérera la télémétrie, mais voilà. Si ça se trouve, on la récupérera pas. Et au revoir.
With you real quick. So can confirm we did lose contact with the ship. Unfortunately, this happened last time too, so we've got some practice at this now. We've got a lot of measures in place, like debris response areas where we coordinate very closely with air traffic control. We have a lot of measures put before we ever launch a rocket to make sure that we're keeping the public safe. Those worked last time, and they're actively in work right now. So just to recap real quick, everything we saw, we lifted off right at the top of our window, essentially at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. Booster was able to get us all the way up into space, made its way back here. It's sitting on the catch. Starship ignited all 6 of its Raptor engines. It was just about 20 or 30 seconds away. We'll get exact times from the end of its ascent burn when we started to see some engines go out on ship. Eventually lost attitude control and then lost contact with the ship shortly after. So obviously a lot to go through, a lot to dig through. We're going to go right at it. The primary reason we do these flight tests is to learn. We have some more to learn about this vehicle, but we're going to be right back here in the not too distant future, and we're going to get a ship to space.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We fly to learn, and we're learning a lot. And as is the case with developmental programs such as the Starship program, progress isn't always linear. So at this point, we're going to close out our webcast for the day. But before we do, we'd like to give a shout out to our viewers, of course, as well as our partners, both here in Cameron County and around the world. Now, once we know more about the mission today, we'll provide you with updates on SpaceX.com as well as at SpaceX on X. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bon bah, il s'est exactement passé la même chose que durant le 7e vol. Vas-y. Limite, on pourrait confondre le 7e et le 8e vol. Mais pourquoi ils ont perdu la télémétrie? Mais c'est quoi le problème avec la V2 en fait? La V1, elle a assuré tous ses vols. Enfin, tous ses vols. La moitié de ses vols. Parce que les 3 premiers, c'était... vraiment pas grand-chose. Et là, 7e et 8e vol, de la merde. On a eu que des rattrapages. C'est tout. Putain, je suis dégoûté. Vous savez quoi? Je vais aller sur... plus tard, je vais aller sur X. Je vais trouver toutes les images que SpaceX va partager, dont on voit pas les filigranes de SpaceX. Je vais prendre toutes les images. Je vais faire un recap. Ça va, là, ça va bien taper. Hein. Bon, bah, sur ce... Au revoir. Merci d'avoir regardé et au revoir.